That looks hard to make.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Why do you want a duck cake?
Because it made my tail wag.
Can't argue with that. Duck cake it is.
Duck cake means duck cake. Besides, it's my birthday today. It would be nice to make such cool cake, shaped like a weird duck. And also I just got some fresh eggs.
For the cake batter itself, into the bowl of a stand mixer goes 450 grams or 1 pound of unsalted room temperature butter.
The regular bowl, and now into the bowl goes 450 grams of unsalted room temperature margarine.
Then we're adding 650 grams of granulated sugar, 1.5 tablespoons of baking powder, and 1.25 teaspoons of kosher salt.
Then add about 650 grams of white sugar, about that much, some baking powder, and a couple pinches of white salt.
Beating together with the paddle attachment for 3 to 4 minutes on medium speed.
And beat together for 3 to 4 minutes on a speed I can actually reach. I don't have that fancy thing.
Until nice and fluffy and 1 or 2 shades paler.
Until it at least comes together and gets a little paler.
Give the bowl a rigorous scraping and then it's time to add the eggs. I'm cracking them one at a time into a small bowl to make sure that I don't mix in any eggshell fragments.
Give the bowl a regular scraping and add the eggs. I'm cracking a couple at a time straight into the big bowl to make it faster. I'm a professional. And mix until everything is incorporated.
Then I'm combining 450 grams of room temperature buttermilk.
I don't have buttermilk, so regular milk and some lemon juice. The internet told me that's how it works.
115 grams vegetable oil and 2 tablespoons of vanilla paste.
115 grams of vegetable oil and some vanilla sugar. I don't have vanilla paste.
And then alternately adding the dries and the wets. First about 1/4 of 680 grams of all-purpose flour, followed by 1/3 of the liquid.
Some flour, then some liquid. Mix. I could have dumped everything in at once, but I'm strictly following the instructions.
This is going to make a sturdy, construction-grade cake batter suitable for making a duck.
My cake batter is not exactly construction-grade sturdy, but I hope it's still suitable for my duck.
We need 2 4-inch half sphere pans.
I only have 2 soup bowls.
Can't line these with parchment paper, so just make sure they're thoroughly lubricated before filling 3/4 of the way with batter.
I'm gonna line this with parchment paper and fill 3/4 of the way with butter.
Then I'm also going to utilize these baking nails.
I don't have these ones, so skip.
These nails heat up and help extra thick cakes bake evenly and give the centers something to climb and hang on to so that they don't collapse.
Okay, I hope these horrible things won't happen to my butter. By the way, this is my big baking pan.
The 10-inchers are baking at 350 Fahrenheit for 37 to 42 minutes.
Yes, I don't have an oven, so I'm gonna use a regular stove. Put an IKEA lid on top and cook it over low heat for an unknown amount of time.
The half spheres at 325 for 30 to 35 minutes.
The same thing with the small pans. I'm gonna put them in the microwave on full power for 3 minutes. Editing magic, checking with the skewers, so it's done.
Punching the cake nail through it and precariously inverting.
Take off the IKEA lid and just flip it onto some parchment paper. Peel off the extra paper, and it actually looks pretty good. Who even needs an oven?
And the cake half spheres. Remember that this is a family show, so just don't say anything right now.
I wasn't gonna say anything, but fine. Your half spheres looks like boobs. Mine don't really.
Now these guys can get wrapped in plastic and fridged until ready to use.
Wrap them in plastic and let them cool.
Now you could just buy caramel corn, but if you want to make it for some reason,
I just bought caramel popcorn, but okay, let's make it.
We're heating 50 grams of coconut oil and 3 popcorn kernels in a stock pot over medium-high heat until they start to pop.
50 grams of coconut oil and 3 caramel popcorn kernels until they start to pop. Pop.
And add 60 grams of kernels, or about 1/3 of a cup, covering and tossing off heat for about 30 seconds.
Add all the kernels from the popcorn bag, cover it, and toss it off the heat.
Return it to medium-high heat, keep it covered, and keep it moving for 2 to 3 minutes until all the kernels have popped.
Back over medium-high heat and wait until all the kernels have popped.
As soon as you hear about 1 to 2 seconds between pops, immediately take it off the heat and dump it into a bowl.
Okay, dump it into the bowl.
Then to make the caramel coating, in a saucepan we're combining 150 grams of brown sugar.
In the same pan, combine 150 grams of regular sugar,
85 grams of unsalted butter,
85 grams of margarine, I am not that rich,
and 170 grams or half a cup of corn syrup.
and half a cup of honey. Who even has corn syrup in their kitchen?
Bring that to a rolling simmer and whisking occasionally until it reaches 240 degrees.
And how am I supposed to measure the temperature by eye?
Then we're whisking in half a teaspoon each kosher salt and vanilla extract and 1/8 of a teaspoon of baking soda.
Half a teaspoon of regular salt, vanilla sugar, and some baking powder. Mix.
Pouring over the popcorn and stirring to evenly combine.
Pour it into the popcorn and stir it to evenly combine.
Spread it out as flat as possible on a parchment paper lined rim baking sheet and send it into a 250 Fahrenheit oven for 45 minutes to 1 hour.
Spread it out on parchment paper and I'm gonna leave it like this, because it already looks awesome and I don't have an oven.
Now for the frosting, this interesting technique comes courtesy of Serious Eats.
Wow, it's actually very interesting. Keep going. The same pan, by the way.
In a saucepan, we're combining 680 grams of whole milk
Pour in some grams of whole milk
with 115 grams of all-purpose flour,
with some grams of regular flour,
500 grams of granulated sugar,
500 grams of white sugar.
and cooking over medium heat for 3 to 4 minutes until it turns into a thick paste.
Cook over medium heat until it's a thick paste.
Now I discovered you have to whisk this constantly while it's cooking, otherwise you're gonna end up with some lumpy junk like this.
Well, it's definitely not a thick paste yet. Maybe I need more flour.
And make sure you're keeping it moving the whole time it's cooking until it's a thick, smooth flour sugar paste.
Thick, smooth flour sugar paste. First try.
To cool this quickly, we're pouring it out onto a plastic-lined rimmed baking sheet.
And let it cool in a glass dish.
675 grams worth of butter, unsalted and at room temperature in the bowl of a stand mixer.
About 600 grams of unsalted room temperature margarine in a bowl.
We're gonna beat that on medium speed for 2 to 3 minutes until it's light and fluffy.
As fast as I physically can. And I hope it's get nice and fluffy.
And start adding the slurry 1 spoonful at a time, moving slowly at first, making sure each spoonful is incorporated before adding the next.
1 spoon at a time. And incorporate it. This is gonna take forever.
This is a good time to add a pinch of salt and the requisite food coloring.
Add a pinch of salt and some food coloring.
You can optionally put about half of this stuff into a piping bag for easier application down the line.
Put about half of this stuff into a piping bag.
Now it's time to shape and decorate.
Finally, shaping and decorating is my second name. Looks not that bad though.
Trim them into a teardrop shape with a tapered tip.
Okay, this part is less complicated. Just cut it and shape it.
Now with the trimmings, we're going to make a kind of modeling cake, breaking up the scraps into as crummy a mixture as possible,
Breaking up the scraps into extra crumbs,
adding a big dollop of frosting, and mixing until you end up with a moldable paste.
adding a big spoon of frosting, and mix until it becomes a modeling paste or a ball.
We're first placing a little smear of frosting on our cake turntable,
I don't have a cake turntable, so place a little smear of frosting on a cutting board.
applying a generous coating of frosting on the first layer of the cake, flattening it out, and creating a cake sandwich.
Applying a layer of frosting to the first layer and creating a cake sandwich.
Stop here if your child isn't old enough to form memories yet, but if their happiness is important to you, we should probably keep going.
I'm old enough to form memories, but maybe I should stop now.
Shaping a sort of tail out of the molding cake and covering that with frosting to make things seamless.
Shaping kind of tail, put it here and cover it with the frosting too. Well, it kinda looks right so far.
Now I'm going to place this guy in the fridge for about 15 minutes to firm things up, during which time
And place it into the fridge for 15 minutes to make it firm.
we can begin our work on the duck's head, unwrapping our cake half spheres, cutting off excess so they're nice and flat,
Unwrapping our small cake, and I don't have to trim it, because they're already nice and flat.
spreading one side generously with frost and sandwiching between the other side, creating a cake burger.
Add some frosting and create a cake burger. Lots of bread, barely any filling, just like McDonald's. And let's get the duck. Jesus Christ, who attacked you? I'll fix everything. I have modeling butter.
Now the head needs a little bit of a platform to be placed on, sort of like a neck,
Make the neck and put it here.
flattening the center of it and placing the cake burger over top.
And placing the cake burger on top. Oh, something went wrong. Pull yourself together, Mr. Duck. Place it on top. Finally,
Pressing a boba straw all the way down through the center of it to marry it to the bottom of the cake.
pressing it with a few skewers. I don't have a boba straw.
Put down a crumb coat of frosting. This is a thin layer of frosting that keeps crumbs from ending up in the final product.
Put down a crumbs coat of frosting. Maybe it will taste better this way.
Fridge for 15 minutes.
I think I'll add a few more skewers and put it into the fridge. Maybe it's gonna look better.
Piping on a thick, even layer. Just get as much as you can on there, all over the thing.
Nope. It looks even worse. Oh well, piping on a thick layer, as much as I can, and as much frosting as I have left.
Making things smooth, even, and generally professional looking.
Smooth, even, and semi-professional looking.
Make sure the duck's butt is nice and clean.
But as average, let's keep moving.
The eyes are made from 2 strings of black licorice.
2 black worm for the eyes. I hate this thing, by the way. eyes. Bleh.
forming into an oval and carefully placing with cartoon-like whimsy.
Carefully placing it like this, and the second one.
Pupils, I don't know what they are represented by 2 orange M&Ms. Make sure the logo's facing inward so that your kid doesn't think that you're doing product placement on their birthday.
No product placement on my duck, that's very expensive.
The duck bill, of course, is 2 wavy potato chips. Why not Pringles? I have no idea.
Duck beak, 2 wavy potato chips. Pringles, if you want product placement, email me.
And then for some reason it has a full head of caramel corn hair,
And a full head of caramel popcorn hair. Like this.
followed by 3 red M&M buttons,
3 M&M buttons.
and a bright red western bow tie, which I'm going to make out of a fruit by the foot.
And that I'm gonna make out of whatever I found under my bed.
Now that's one classy duck. And there you have it, Bingo's birthday cake of choice, duck cake.
And there we have it. Bingo's birthday cake of choice. Also my birthday cake of choice. Wow. It actually looks unbelievable and very white and muscular. Put the birthday candle on and light it. Happy birthday to me. It doesn't look that bad actually. Oh well, maybe it's even better this way. Let's try it. It looks good. The cake is moist and not overly sweet, but the frosting is incredibly rich. My liver is going to suffer, but it's actually tasty. 7 out of 10. At the same time, the frosting didn't properly cover the duck. Ended up looking pretty rough and scared my neighbors, so -1 point. Final score 6 out of 10. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed, leave a like, subscribe and let me know in the comments what I should make next. See you soon.